Welcome to Temple Tuesday, the Women of Victory edition. We're so glad to have you here on behalf of our bishop, the memory of our First Lady, our overseer, and the entire Temple Nation. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you know, we've been doing Temple Tuesday, and we want to come in and just educate everyone on just different things that we go through in life. And today we have a very special guest. Sister Brandi Deas is here with us to kind of discuss some things that we as women go through, or even our kids go through when it comes to our emotional health. So we're going to jump right in. Thank you for coming, Sister Brandi. Please introduce yourself and let us know what you do, how long you've been doing it, and any other tidbits you want to give us.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. As Trina already said, my name is Brandi Deas. I am a mental health therapist here in Savannah, Georgia. I got my bachelor's in behavioral science in 2003 from Columbia College in Columbia, South Carolina. Then in 2013, I received my master's in mental health counseling here in Savannah at South University. And since 2013, I have been working in the mental health field. I've worked with addictions as well as community-based counseling, where I was out in the community visiting homes and working with families, adults, children, people of all ages, helping them with all types of mental health issues, from depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, ADHD, all disorders in all ages. And at this time, I am still working with ages 5 through adulthood, and I work with all disorders, but I mainly have been working with anxiety, depression, and ADHD.
And what made you get into this field? Have you always wanted to be a therapist, or?
I always wanted to help people. It started off with wanting to be a teacher. And then in high school, we did kind of like an internship where I worked in a classroom. I think it was with second graders. I was like, I don't think I can be a teacher exactly all day long with the same little people. Like, I don't think I can do this. But I think someone might have introduced me, probably in high school, someone introduced me to counseling. I was like, okay, working with different age ranges as well as just different types of people. I was like, okay, I think I can do that. And so when I went to college, I was social work at first, and then I went to behavioral science. And then, like I said, I got my master's in mental health counseling.
That's really good. Really good. Yeah. So you can help us out a little bit. One of the first questions that I want to ask you is basically, when you look at our culture or our community in terms of our race, or even in terms of our faith, we struggle with, I guess, even not even trying to balance, but even the thought of having to say that we need help or need counseling or need a therapist. Where in the world does that come from? Because it seems like it's mainly, us and how we view things, and us not wanting to get the help that we think we may need.
Right. I've found personally, as well as with my work, that as you already said, with African Americans, we tend to not go to therapy. And part of that's because some of us are raised with the mentality of what happens in the house stays in the house. And also with the mentality of pray about it, take it to God, take it to Jesus, which of course I believe in prayer and talking to God and taking it to Jesus. But there are times when you just need someone to talk to. You just feel like you need someone to hear you and to just bounce ideas off of. So that's where therapy comes in. But a lot of us have been raised where you don't need to spread your business per se. And that's just the mentality we have. But thankfully, what I'm seeing more recently, this generation, to be specific, is getting out of that mindset where we need someone to talk to. It's not spreading your business by talking to a therapist, because your therapist is your confidant. Whatever you say to your therapist is between you and that person. It's not like your therapist is going to go out and spread your business. So, like I said, this generation, thankfully, is getting out of that mentality and being able to tell older people or other people that that's not what therapy is about.
Okay, gotcha. So We're right in the middle of this whole pandemic. We've been in it for almost a year and a half now, and we've been seeing a lot of articles and people on the news just talking about how the pandemic has impacted pretty much every aspect of our lives, from our finances to our families, to even our emotional and mental state of mind.
Right.
I guess what have you guys seen? Like, I've just read, that said that, depression is up and certain things are up. What are you guys seeing in working and counseling people? And I guess one of the biggest questions is when sometimes we don't identify, certain things. When we see that, what can we do,
Right. Okay. Well, I'll talk from a personal perspective. When the pandemic started, I don't know about everybody, but a lot of people were worried about jobs and stuff. And I was one of those people who was like, okay, so where is this going to go? Am I still going to be able to work? Not even thinking that this was going to affect people the way it has mentally. And, I've also been watching the news and reading things as like people more and more need a therapist, and that this type of job will always be needed due to what's going on. And when it first started, I was working from home. And I remember reading something about ways in which to improve your mental health daily by doing simple things such as making up your bed. Getting out of the bed. Right. Instead of just, you're home, so why not lay down all day? But getting out of the bed, making up your bed, opening up your curtains and your blinds to make sure you're getting light in, establishing a routine so that can help your mental health and you just won't lay down and just become depressed. So I made sure I did that for myself, because it was easy just to stay in your pajamas all day and just stay in the bed and not do anything and just be depressed because you couldn't go anywhere initially. It was just like, okay, we're going to be in the house, not doing anything. You don't want to be around friends, family, anybody, because you don't know if you're going to spread COVID to anyone. So at first it was somewhat depressing for myself. But like I said, I read that article and that helped me to establish a routine of getting up and doing things every day. A lot that I've seen with my job, it's a lot of depression, especially with women, and a lot of anxiety because we don't really know what's happening. The news is changing every day. Some days it seems like it's getting worse. Different strands of the virus, you don't know what to do. Being vaccinated, people talking about not being vaccinated. It's just a lot to deal with. And I know as women, a lot of times we feel like we got to take care of everybody. So trying to take care of ourselves, take care of our families, making sure we have the right information for everyone. And I see that a lot with my clients, just being anxious, not knowing what to do or what the best thing is for them to do, and not having all the information, and then being depressed in that life isn't the way it used to be. This has been a major change for everyone. Everyone has been affected. Not being able to see family, because not wanting to spread COVID, or a lot of people, even more so now, are being affected. I think everybody I know knows somebody who has had COVID. It's not a matter of, it might not be this, excuse me, but everybody I know knows somebody who's had it. So it's very real. And like I said, it's been affecting more and more people as far as depression and having anxiety.
I know you said women, we are battling more so around this time with anxiety and depression. One, because we don't know, a lot of times we try to control things and we don't know, what's going to happen next. And two, like you said, we've been stuck in the house with everybody in the house, especially if you're an extrovert, you want to be able to get out. So there has been a lot of things going on. One of the things that I've noticed, especially, of course, with women, is most often we are going to talk to someone. If it's nothing but our friend, our sister, our mom, unlike a lot of men, they're not as, communicative, talkative as we are. We're more prone to let our emotions flow and out. I remember reading an article with Oprah. She said she's never had to have a therapist because she's had Gail, her best friend, and they talk every single day, So she's been able to get, a lot of things out because of that. But I guess the pandemic, maybe because we were stuck, we weren't able to physically see people, and we weren't able to gather around people and be in, the groups, and be able to talk to other people. So what are some things that you just suggest as women? First of all, let's go back, because a lot of people don't even know what the whole mental health thing is. What exactly is mental health?
Mental health is how your mind works, how your mind processes things, your emotions, your feelings, how you feel about things. And when I say things, everything: life, people, work, family, everything. Excuse me. And it's important to take care of your mental health, just like it's important to take care of your physical health. I work from a model that's known as cognitive behavior therapy, which is all about your mind, how you think. And I said that to say the reason why I personally feel that it's important to take care of your mental health is because if you don't take care of how you think, it will affect how you act. And that's how I work with my clients. You have to start off with your thought process. If you are always thinking of negative things, you're going to react in a negative way. But if you are able to change how you think and think more positively and think about the positive things that you have in your life, that will help you and to react more positively. So that's the type of therapy that I use with my clients.
So what's the difference, I guess, between like going to a counselor, going to a therapist, going to a psychologist, going to a psychiatrist? It's like so many. And that's probably why a lot of people don't go, because they don't even know who to talk to. So what are the differences between those different titles?
Yeah, there are a lot of titles. I don't know if I'll be able to name each one. Well, I'll start off with one: life coach. That's sometimes a lot now. People don't really understand the difference with a life coach. Life coach is, to my understanding, do not have to have a degree. It is more like talking to people and teaching, not even teaching, like telling them what to do with their lives.
Right.
Counseling and therapy are like the same thing. You have to have a master's degree. And then after a master's degree, you become licensed. And with that, you're not telling anybody what to do. What you're doing is you're teaching life skills, teaching coping skills to help them to be able to deal with depression, anxiety, anger, ADHD, all these things that come at us in life. We're just teaching skills. And also, it's an opportunity for someone just to talk to someone and to hear because sometimes we need to hear what we're saying. We say stuff and it's just like, are we really listening to what we're saying? And with therapy and counseling, the therapist just kind of repeats what you're saying so you can hear what you're saying, and helps you to create thinking for yourself. It helps you to think for yourself.
Gotcha. Okay. And it's probably good too, because you get to have a person who's on the outside, not connected to you at all. Right. Who gets to see it from a totally different perspective.
Right. And I was going to connect that into what you said about Oprah saying she didn't have a therapist because she had Gail. I understand that completely, but at the same time, like you literally, like what you just said, it's good to have somebody with a clean slate that knows nothing about you. As we like to say, no judgment. Right. There's nothing. They just you're Trina and I'm Brandi. That's it. Right. There's nothing. Right. There's nothing else. So sometimes that can be great for people. As far as a psychiatrist, they provide medication. Okay. So they're more into medicine. Psychologists, because that's a big one. Psychiatrists and psychologists, people get that mixed up. Psychologists, they do testing. They do more of assessments and diagnosing individuals so that they'll know what to go to therapy for. Okay. And also for like kids, they'll go to a psychologist to determine if they have, I'll give for an example, like ADHD, and determining if they need some type of special arrangements in school for testing or different type of things that they can get at school if they get that information from a psychologist.
Got it. Okay, because I do often see like jobs for school psychologists. So that's what that is for. Okay, gotcha. So, so let's kind of talk about, you mentioned like being diagnosed. How do you know when we all are going to go through various experiences in life where it's going to cause us maybe to have a little bit of anxiety, where we are going to get depressed because we just lost our job and we have 3 kids to, to take care of, where, somebody passes away and we're dealing with grief. We're all going to probably go through a lot of the stages, just the different people, we are going to go through. How do you know when a person, I guess, needs more help? I guess they may be in that situation. Maybe you're talking to them like, okay, they've been down for quite some time. Normally, when stuff happens, they'll normally, get back into the routine of things, but it doesn't seem like it. So how do you know when you can kind of identify some of those things where you're like, okay, maybe they do need to go talk to somebody? And even more delicately, how can you even approach the person, the mom, the whomever, to, kind of nudge them on or even talk to them about what they're going through?
What I usually tell people is when it starts affecting all aspects of your life, that is definitely a point in which you need to seek therapy or seek professional help. And when I say affecting all areas of life, when it's affecting your work, when it's affecting school, personal life, family, eating habits, sleeping habits, when it's affecting everything. Because, for example, I have clients that come in and not able to sleep, not able, their eating has decreased or increased because it could go up or down. Not wanting to interact with family. They went from, family time is the greatest thing to it's okay. I do it out of habit, but I'm not really 100% there. They're able to go to work because they know they have to go to work. But again, they're not 100% there. It's just going through the motions. And because they're going through the motions and just doing what they have to do, they're not 100% in it. That's when I'm like, it's good that you came to therapy. Like you realize that life isn't where it was, or it's not where it should be. And if you have a friend or someone that you recognize with that, I know it might be hard because you don't want to go up to someone and be like, girl, you're depressed.
Right.
It's not exactly the way you want to go up to your friend. Girl, you need to go talk to somebody.
Right.
But it could just be, a conversation with your, with your homegirl or whatever. Just, okay, I'm seeing that you don't seem like yourself. What is, bring it like a question, kind of like a topic. So what's going on? Even if you might know already because you're friends, but just like what's going on? Tell me what you've been thinking and what's going on. And, address if it's affecting everything. Are you okay? Have you been able to sleep? You don't want to feel like you're being a counselor. You want to be a friend, but just how is this affecting you? Is this affecting, your family, your work and everything? And if they say yes, just okay. Well, maybe have you ever thought about talking to someone professional so that they can give you more, more insight into what's going on and ways in which you can get back to the person you were, if not a better person.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's really good. That's a good tip. So what about, we talked about women and moms and just some of the things that, we can do or even go through. But a lot of times we are the first ones that see different changes in our kids, especially, over the last year and a half, our kids have been shut in the house, and they have been wanting, of course, my kids were ready to go back to school so that they could see their friends, but it's for some kids, it has really been a struggle to not have that socialization and all that good stuff. So, what have you seen like over the last few months and a year and a half with kids? And even how can we even identify that there's something different or something going on with even our own kids? Because sometimes we are working so much, and doing so many things that, signs are there, but we're not paying attention to them.
What I've seen, which has been very interesting, a lot of kids, especially teenagers that I worked with before the pandemic, they were, I don't like school. I don't want to go to school. I want to be homeschooled. I want to be home. And then now that was forced on them, they hate it. They absolutely positively do not like it. And were ready, willing, and excited about going back to school because, as we know, you need social skills. You need, to be around other people, especially at a young age. And that's the main thing I've seen. Like even my kids that did very well at school, they didn't do well during the pandemic with homeschooling.
Okay.
Being in front of a computer all day, just doing work online did not work for a lot of students. And I know for one, it's because it's a change. It's not something that they're used to, and sitting still in the same spot all day long. It doesn't work for me.
Doesn't work. Right.
I like being able to interact with different people all day long, and going back and forth to my desk and moving around and stuff. I like doing that. So I know for a child, especially if it's a child with ADHD, how do you expect them to sit there on a computer from morning till almost evening doing work and listening all day long? It's very difficult. And so I've noticed that the ADHD has definitely increased with the children that I've worked with. As far as being able to recognize it or being able to recognize things with your kids, it's kind of the same thing like with an adult, noticing, has their sleeping changed? Has their eating changed? Are they less excited about things that they used to be excited about? They don't want to say that your kids are depressed, but with things like this,
kids can get depressed. Yeah.
Right. Right. And I know old school thought is what they have to be depressed about. This is nature.
Right.
We never went through this growing up.
Exactly.
So I can only imagine, having to go to school online all day and getting all this work. And you still have to be on the computer afterwards to get your work done. It's never ending. Because I felt that way when I was working from home. It's like, it's never ending. I'm always working. So it's the same thing for the kids. So it is possible for kids to be depressed. So a way of noticing it is just noticing different changes in behavior. Are they easily angered? Because a lot of times kids aren't just going to come up, Mom, I'm sad. Mom, I don't like being home all day. It'll come across as, it might come aggressive, angry, just, I don't want to talk. Those types of things, because kids don't necessarily know what emotions they're trying to identify. So as parents or adults, just trying to be there and recognize that and giving them their time, because everyone, I tell everybody this all the time, everybody wants to be heard. Even if we're saying, I don't want to talk about it, every single person wants to be heard. And that's why I tell people about counseling. It gives everybody the opportunity to be heard.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So as parents or adults working with children, just giving them that opportunity to have their one-on-one time to be heard, even if it's just playing a game with them, doing something that they like, that will give them the opportunity to be like, okay, Mom, this is what's been going on. This is what, I like, don't like, want to be changed. What can we do different? And I know sometimes as adults, we don't ask kids those questions, but there's no harm in asking, what can I do different? What do you want different? What do you want? What would you like to be doing instead of just sitting in the house on the computer all day?
Right. Yeah. We grew up, a lot of us grew up in a generation where, the kids are just to do, of course, what the adult says, and that's it. And we don't have that. A lot of times they didn't have the relationship with their child until you get older, but it's like I want my child to be able to come to me, especially if they're going through something. I want to be able to know so that I can help them get through it. So that's really good. So a lot of times, again, the reason why we don't seek out counseling or for ourselves or even for our children or family members is because we don't even know where to start or where to go or, what to do. So as far as finding a counselor or finding a therapist, we recognize something is not right in our own lives and we want to go talk to somebody. Where do we even start? Is this something that, we go through our doctor? Is it covered from our health insurance? Do we pay out of pocket? How does that all work?
Well, a lot of referrals where I work, especially with children, comes from doctors' offices. If any parents, they're seeing anything in their children, the best thing is to talk to your child's primary doctor. And they usually have resources in the community or a specific agency that they work with where they can refer their child to that place for counseling. As far as adults, it can be as easy. You can talk to your doctor if you do have a primary doctor, or you can also go, if you have health insurance, go on your insurance website or call your insurance and ask them what they cover, what specific counseling agencies they will cover in your area. Okay. Also, there is the Georgia Crisis Line. That's if you or anybody that you know is in crisis, they can call that line. 1-800-715-4225. And they will get the information that's needed and also refer you to a counselor in your area.
Okay. And is this like a 24 hours?
Yes. It's 24 hour, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Yes.
Okay. That's good.
Google, I know it sounds, but it's true. I had somebody ask me a question last week and I Googled and so many agencies came up in Savannah. Alone. So I was glad to see that there are several different options in our area. So Google is helpful. It's just a matter of narrowing it down because there's different types and understanding what your insurance is going to cover. That's why I brought up insurance. Sometimes it's easier to call your insurance or go on the website to get an idea of what is going to be covered before you call and then it's not covered. There's also a suicide prevention line. If you or anybody that you know is ever thinking about taking their life, there is the suicide line. That number was 2 numbers. One is 1-800-273-TALK, TALK.
Okay.
And the other number is 1-800-SUICIDE. And those are also 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Okay. That's really, really good to know. That's good. So just to sum up, if you are struggling, if you're going through something, or you know someone who is going through something, you're like, I don't know where to go, or you need something immediately, you have help. You can call the Georgia Crisis Line, 1-800-715-4225, or even if you're having suicidal thoughts and you need someone to talk to, 1-800-273-TALK or 1-800-SUICIDE, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
That is awesome. So what, in closing out, what are some of the things that you think that we can do to have, I guess, a healthy balance and ensuring that we are good mentally and emotionally, especially while we're going through, that all that we're going through right now, or even once we get post the COVID pandemic? What are just some, just natural things that we can do? I heard exercising helps with the brain and releases different things that we can do. Just give us a couple of things that we can do and we can implement in our lives. Of course, especially as a Christian, to make sure that we want to be physically healthy, but we also want to be emotionally and mentally healthy as well.
Right. Number one, I tell people all the time, self-care. I know we hear it all the time, self-care, take care of yourself, but for real, self-care is a necessity, and self-care involves praying, talking to God, letting him know everything.
Journaling.
Talking
I like
to God.
To journal.
Journaling. Yes, I talk to my clients about that. Anytime somebody tells me they like writing, I'm like, let's journal.
That's how I talk to God. I write all my prayers and stuff out.
Journal. Yeah. Yes. And especially, I'm glad you brought up journaling. Especially with journaling, that can help you identify what's causing these thoughts. Because a lot of times it's just like, I don't know where it comes from. All of a sudden, I don't feel right. I don't feel good. Right. If you journal, it's like, oh, on that day, that was happening. And that's why I was sad. On that day, that was happening. That's why I was happy. So it can help you identify so that you can change what's going on in your life, specifically in your way of thinking.
That's good.
So that you can feel better. So self-care, like I said, talking to God, journaling, listening to music, exercise. I'm glad you brought that up. For me, I didn't realize that was the thing. My mom used to always say, if you exercise, you feel better. With this pandemic, I started walking.
Okay.
And first thing in the morning, it's the first thing I do. I get up, go for a walk. That's my time with God and with myself. I love it. My day does not go as well when I don't walk.
Gotcha.
I always feel like something is off. So exercise really does help with whether it's walking, yoga, going to the gym, running, anything. It helps with your mental health when you are able to exercise. People who like to sing, people like to draw, watching certain things on movies, having family night.
Right.
You know, for people, different, just making sure that you take that time with things that you enjoy, things that you find enjoyment in. Do those, even if it's just sitting outside, enjoying the air, enjoying God's earth.
Right.
Just sitting outside, enjoying it when it's not, 100 degrees outside.
Right. Like right now. Yeah.
right. You know, in the evening or first thing in the morning.
Right.
You know, just sitting outside, having peace, having time just to clear your mind and reflect. You know, because sometimes with the hustle and bustle in life, we forget the good things that we have. You know, and when you have, like, I have that time walking, I think of, I'm awake, I'm alive, I have a job, I'm able to go for a walk. I'm able, to go to church. I'm so happy to be back, going to church, being able to see my church family, being able to see my mom, different things I'm able, that we take for granted. When you have that time for self-care and to be by yourself, with yourself and God, you have that time to be able to think about all the things we should be grateful for. And it's so much, it's in the midst of everything. It's so many things that we should be grateful for. So self-care is important. And that it helps you with your mental health, and it helps you to be able to identify what's going on, what caused it, and to be able to change your way of thinking.
And decompress. Sometimes we're just so busy that we just don't even have time just to relax. Go, for women, just go do have a spa day, get your nails done, just simple things that a lot of times we're so overwhelmed with working and going and doing, especially if we're single moms and, just having a million different things to do. It can start with something as simple as, like you said, just getting up and walking and praying or journaling or just doing something as simple that we love, gardening. So that's really good.
Life can just get overwhelming. Like, I know for me, people seek advice, everybody wants this, everybody wants something. And it's just like, sometimes you just no, I need
saying no. That's that is right there.
Very free. No, it's a good word.
Self-care right there. No, I can't.
It's not a bad word. No, it's a good word.
It's not a bad word, and it's a complete sentence too. That probably will free some people up alone, being able to say no, I can't do it. No, I'm not able to. Yeah,
you have something to do. No, but I planned on having nothing to do, and I'm going to do that nothing.
Yes,
because I need that. So that I can decompress and get back to what I do every day.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, thank you so much, Brandi. This really helped. I hope that people were able to see that, yes, you can have therapy in Jesus. We need to have a t-shirt that says that. You can have therapy in Jesus, be a Christian, and still seek counseling. It's not, a bad thing to do. Actually, it will help us move us into a better, like you said, maybe a better version of ourselves. So, and of course, if we recognize it in other people, have that conversation, especially if we recognize it in our kids. It's okay to mention it to their pediatricians or doctors, so that we can get referred out and make sure that we're good, in a good state mentally. And if not, it's okay. We can't, a lot of times the reason why our community doesn't want to go to and have therapy, because we don't want to acknowledge that something is wrong, and it's okay for us to say, okay, maybe I do need to have X, Y, or Z, or get X, Y, and Z, so that my brain is functioning properly. So it's okay. So thank you so much again. If you have want to speak with somebody or know somebody who needs to speak with someone, you can always call the Georgia Crisis Hotline at 1-800-715-4225. Thanks so much, Brandi. We appreciate you all coming, and we hope that you enjoyed this session of Temple Tuesday as we talked about our emotional and mental health. Yes, it's okay to have therapy and Jesus. All right, we'll see you on next Tuesday. Thanks so much.